What is going on? It's your boy X coming at y'all with a brand new video, and as you guys can see, we're here with another tier list. And as you guys can see from the title, it's a bit of a different one. I decided to do a bit of an original tier list and kind of mix it up. So we're gonna be ranking all of the free Galaxy Opals that you can pick up in the game. We have a whole list of wonderful cards over here on our right side that you can get in the game perfectly for free, whether it be from the Players Club locker codes, from Unlimited 12-0, doing spotlight challenges, domination grinds, stuff like that. We get everybody sitting in here. I may miss a card or two, and if I do, I apologize. Leave it down in the comment section below, but make sure you guys drop a like on this video for the wonderful tier list, and if you guys could, mean a lot, go follow my Twitter. It would mean the world to me. But we're going to start it off with Galaxy Opal James Worthy. When I think it comes to free Galaxy Opals, James Worthy is definitely up there in our top free Galaxy Opals. This is kind of like one of those, between S and A tier Opals, in terms of, how free, they are. I'm going to go with the Galaxy Opal James Worthy. I know you got to go 12-0 in order to get him, but I still think it's a pretty high quality card. I may change my decision as we go on and move him lower into, A tier or something like that. But I think I'm going to throw him into S for now, and we'll see how that changes as time goes on. But still love the James Worthy card. LaMarcus Aldridge base, awesome jump shot animation, and really good, dribbling six. But I do think he has gold quick shot, which is why I'm debating moving him down just a slight peg. But next up, we have Galaxy Opal James Harden, a card that I wasn't really impressed when he first came out, and I'm still not too, eager about now. Even with his Hop quick drop, update, I'm still not the biggest fan of this James Harden card. He's a good card, but for me personally, nothing too special. I think he fits solidly in the A tier. Now, this Galaxy Opal Jamal Murray is actually another card that for me is a little bit difficult to kind of rank because I'm not the most excited about him, but I don't feel like, he's absolutely horrible. So I'm going to throw him into B tier for now. We're going to see, how that transpires as time goes on. But I feel like, the Jamal Murray card is a pretty decent card. It doesn't have a bad jump shot by any means. Can attack the basket pretty well, do some pretty nice things. Definitely not too bad of a card. So B tier, I think, suits him pretty well. Next up, we have the free Galaxy Opal Isaiah Thomas. I don't know why I keep saying free. They're all free. And Isaiah Thomas is a card that I really haven't been too impressed with. But I will say I don't think he's in, that bottom tier of Opals. I don't think he's in, D tier for Galaxy Opals. I think a solid C tier ranking fits him because his main negative is that he is undersized, and I will reflect that obviously by throwing him C tier. But there's a lot of things he can do pretty well. Has some pretty nice defense, even though he's a 6'1" guy. Can shoot the three ball pretty well, pretty decent release, and some okay finishing ability as well. Definitely not too bad of a card. Now, the next guy that we got here on our list is Hershey Hawkins, a card that I'm pretty sure not too many people have really got the chance to use themselves, but has some pretty decent dribble sigs, if we're being honest. He has a nice, jump shot 39 base. It's not the most amazing, but it's definitely not too bad. Has some amazing Hall of Fame badges, 45 of them, can do everything really well. Awesome defense, awesome dunking, awesome shooting, really good playmaking as well. And I think he's just a really nice card, but I don't think he's anything too crazy. But he is a 6'6" PG with, the ability to do everything. So I am going to reflect that and throw him into the B tier. I think he's definitely solid there and worthy of getting a B tier selection. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Hakeem Olajuwon. Wasn't really the biggest fan of this Hakeem when he came out, and I'm still not too thrilled with him, but I do think a solid little B, A tier, sorry, not B, a solid little A throw in for Hakeem Olajuwon is pretty suitable. I'm not, again, the biggest fan of Hakeem Olajuwon. To me, he feels very similar to Marc Gasol, and I think, Marc Gasol is just borderline not top tier as well, A tier. So, a bit of a tough decision, but I think I'm going to have to throw Hakeem there in A. Next up, we have Gus Williams. Undersized PG, it doesn't have range extender, so I think this one's pretty easy, and everybody kind of understands that Gus Williams, he's a D tier card, has a pretty decent release. It is a little bit slow, so I know for some people, obviously, that's not ideal, and they're not going to mess with it at all. So he's got to go down there, man. No range at the PG position at this point in the year is basically a death sentence. But next up, we have Galaxy Opal Glenn Rice. Even with the news lately that people aren't really feeling the D-Wade release, it feels a little bit different for some cards, and Glenn Rice included. no matter what, I still think this Glenn Rice card is very easily sitting here in the S tier when it comes to free PGs. Definitely a really, really solid card that I think a lot of people still to this day, despite him getting a bit of a, I guess, nerf to his jump shot, it just feels a little different for some people. Still easily a S tier card. Next up, we have Gilbert Arenas, who I kind of feel like is in another similar situation as maybe a Jamal Murray or Hershey Hawkins, where for me personally, that base 11 at the PG, no matter how you have it, just isn't a jump shot that I really want. It's a little too slow for my PGs no matter what, and I think with that I'm going to throw him B tier. But with Gilbert Arenas, I do think he is one of the better 6'3" PGs. He can shoot the ball really well if you can get used to that release and kind of adjust a little bit. With that, has some pretty good defense and can finish inside amazing. So I do realize that he is a really good card, and there is a niche set of players that could really like him, but for me, really ain't it. Now next up, we have Galaxy Opal Dominique Wilkins, who is a card for me that I'm a little bit, I think I like more than the average player does, because I spent the time and grinded him out and even got that evo done. And Hall of Fame steady shooter isn't as bad as some people say it is, and Dominique does, have Hoff steady shooter. So those contested shots do be banging. He also has gold range as well, a pretty good shooter whenever I have used him, once you get used to that jump shot base. But I do understand that he is that for some people, so I'm going to throw him into the B tier. I'm going to be a little bit conservative and throw him in there. I feel like, for me personally, sometimes he can play like an A tier card, but I'll take into account some general decisions and move him down a tier, throw him in the middle. I think he's A. Most people think he's about C, so we'll throw him in B. Next up, we have this Galaxy Opal Doc Rivers, who is a card that I really haven't seen people use, at all whenever they're playing, and I don't run into him. I don't know if people just didn't get him here, but it is what it is. But he does have jump shot 25. That's a similar jump shot to Wilson Chandler. Actually, the same jump shot as Wilson Chandler. He has half quick draw, half range, really good shooting, good speed, pretty good defense as well. He can dunk the ball like crazy. But I will say that the jump shot 25 is a pretty slow jump shot for a PG that I'm not really too keen on having in my PG position. Off catch, I think is awesome, but off dribble is really nothing special, so I do think I'm going to throw this Doc Rivers card down into C tier. I just don't feel like jump shot 25 is really one that you, again, want on your PG, just like base 11 on Gilbert Arenas. Next up, we have the Galaxy Opal Richard Van Arsdale. We're going to call him that because obviously demonetization in his first name. And another card that I think is pretty good, similar Bradley Beal-esque card, you know what I mean? He has a slightly slower frame at the smaller frame at the 2 guard, up 6'5", but has a really nice 6'9" wingspan. He can shoot the 3 ball great. His kind of go-to is, that 3-and-D, I guess, play style. You want him to catch the ball, shoot, and play some defense. Really, that's about it. And has a pretty decent jump shot of the Michael Jordan jump shot base, which is really good off catch, off dribble, not too much. So I will say, if you're going to use Dick Van Arsdale as a catch and shoot, more of a cone, I guess, type player, I do think he is a pretty decent card. But if you kind of want a 2 that's going to cheese up and really kill it for you, I don't think he's really all that. So I think pretty solid, can fit into the B tier. Next up, we have this Galaxy Opal Eric Paschall, who really his only negative is the fact that he's a 6'7", 3-4 man. At the 3, 6'7" isn't too bad, but it's definitely not ideal. And he does have a jump shot 34, that some people, I guess, aren't the biggest fan of. But his defense is awesome if you're running with the 3, and his stats in general are just juiced to all hell. And I think he is a pretty solid card, but has some big man-esque dribbling animations. I think you can use him as a A tier type card, but again, I feel like he's fitting inside this B. We got a lot of people in the middle, but that's kind of just where I feel like we're at right now. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Bol Bol, and this is the Players Club Bol Bol, which means this is pre-Evo Bol Bol, not the one that gets all the extra playmaking stuff like that. And for that reason, I'm actually going to throw Bol Bol A tier. Now, the thing with Bol Bol is Bol Bol doesn't have any sort of strength, man. Bol Bol gets pumped in the paint, man. You do a drop step against him, and he's flying past the backboard. It's really nothing you can do about it. And for me personally, that's a big negative, especially if you're running him at the 4 and the 5. And not having those playmaking badges hurts his stamina, hurts everything about him just moving around. And his dribble zigs to me aren't the most amazing. And the Michael Beasley base at 6'10 and above, because they slow down jump shots for people that are 6'10 and above. That Michael Beasley base just really ain't it for me personally. So I think A, pretty suitable because he's a good card, but just not at that top tier. And I think the same it goes for this Taco Fall, because it's pre-Evo Taco Fall, who is a really, really good card. And you could convince me into throwing him into S tier. And even now, I'm actually realizing I do think I'm going to move James Worthy down to our A tier, because, you know what, I don't feel like he's on the same level as Glenn Rice. Glenn Rice is definitely better than this James Worthy card. So I'm going to throw him down here. Some pretty solid cards, but, you know, Taco Fall without that range, etc., and extra shooting boost, I do think gets a bit of a knockdown. And next up, we have Galaxy Opal PJ Washington, another card who I feel like is just really hurts by the fact that they screwed him on positions. I feel like if PJ Washington was a power forward, small forward, absolutely would kill it. But because he's a power forward center, I feel like that hurts him a little bit. But PJ Washington has a really nice jump shot. It's a lower base Dion Waiters, absolutely money. Has some big man, dribbling animation. So when you do speed boost with him, it's a little wonky. But his defense is awesome. His finishing ability is really, really good, as well as his shooting. I do feel like he's kind of a similar card to that of our Eric Paschall, so we are going to throw him into B tier as well. But I do think I'm gonna, when we revamp everything, I'm going to move Eric Paschall above PJ. I'm gonna move PJ above Eric Paschall. But next up, we have Galaxy Opal Myers Leonard. We're getting all the Players Club cards right out the way for us here. And the one thing that hurts me with this Myers Leonard card is, one, obviously he can't really speed boost too much, and his speed is a little bit lower than most centers that are coming out now. He's got about 80s for his speed, and most people now, 85 to 90s. It's just kind of the norm in how 2K is going. Jump shot 71, a decent jump shot, but nothing absolutely insane, and he really doesn't have any hot zones whatsoever that boost him up. The playmaking is just awful. Sometimes he'll just throw passes out of bounds, but defense is pretty good, and overall he's a decent card. I just don't think he is on that next level of centers. And if we're looking at it, I do think I would take a Taco Fall over a Myers Leonard. So for that reason, I do think I'm probably going to throw Myers Leonard down here into C tier. I'm really not feeling him. Next up, we have Kenny Smith. Actually, another pretty decent Galaxy Opal, if we're being honest. Kenny Smith, pretty, not bad card, you know what I mean? Decent jump shot, nothing crazy. Jump shot 37, it's nothing really good, but it's definitely not too bad. Has a good driving dunk, good shot 3, good speed, all that sort of stuff. Again, a decent card, but I'm not really impressed by him, and I'm going to throw him down into C tier as well with Myers Leonard. Just not a card that jumps out to me as being amazing. Cards that could be great, but for me, I'm really just not feeling them. This Galaxy Opal Jason Tatum is a card that I absolutely love, especially for the fact that he's free. I haven't entered the locker code yet, so I haven't seen if I got him, but I doubt I'll actually get the Opal. And this is a card where he has jump shot 107, man. One of the best jump shots in the game. It's one of those jump shots where if you time it correctly, you're going to bang out, because it's just massively high green window. But it's massively high green percentage, but its green window is a little bit smaller. For that reason, I feel like he's absolutely insane. I know he doesn't have the best full court dribbling ability, but I don't really care. Jason Tatum is a half court animal, and once you get that jump shot down, is insane. We're throwing him into S tier. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Dick Barnett. I'm throwing him into C tier as well. Another card that I think, similar to Doc Rivers and Kenny Smith. He has a really good release. I said the thing. Richard Barnett has a really good release and is overall just a nice card, but he's 6'4". His dribbling animations are pretty good, but his jump shot is just a little weird, man. For some people, it's too quick, it's too weird. Just never really was impressed with Dick Barnett, so I'm gonna have to throw him down into C. Next up, we have this Galaxy Opal Deadlift Shrimp card who we just got, and I am slowly working on my way up to get him, but I do think that he's an absolute beast, man. He's basically like a Nicholas Batum card. Has jump shot 40, awesome, stats overall. There's one thing that I know people are gonna not like about this card, and that's the fact that he doesn't have a moving truck or pick dodger. For a lot of people, those are really, really big deals. Even for me now, they're starting to become bigger deals. But I do think he's a really, really solid card still, and for that reason, I'm probably gonna throw him into A here. I feel like he's pretty on par with this James Worthy. They both got negatives. James Worthy only having, I think, gold quick draw, deadlift shrimp, not having two pretty key badges for his position. So I'm gonna throw him an A. I like him. I think he's a pretty good card, but there definitely are a few things that are holding him back a little bit. Next up, we have a Galaxy Opal Derek Coleman, a card that I haven't used personally. I did like his Amethyst. I thought it was a, really solid card in the beginning of the year, but haven't used this, Galaxy Opal yet. But doesn't have the greatest of dribbling sigs, obviously, as a big man. Doesn't have the greatest of jump shots. Has pretty good stats. The perimeter defense is a little low for my liking, and as a as a power forward, I feel like he just doesn't give me the amazingness that I would want out of it. Kind of reminds me of like a PJ Washington that's a little bit taller, but I'm leaning towards throwing him down into C, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw Derek Coleman down to C. I just don't feel like he's really all that for me personally. Just, eh. And next up, we have Dennis Rodman, going to be one of our first, maybe slightly controversial picks, because I absolutely hate this card, so he's getting his ass down in D tier. Please go there. I'm not feeling you at all. Sorry, Dennis Rodman. Just ain't my type. I'm not feeling it. And I'm going to throw him down to D. Dennis Rodman just has such a slow release. I'm pretty sure he has set shot 17. He's one of the set shots, but I think it's 17, the same as Hakeem Olajuwon and Marc Gasol. And that's not a jump shot that you want as a small forward at all. That's not what you want. Dennis Rodman, one of the best defenders in the game. If you throw him in there, he's absolute clamps. But on offense, he is just a no-go. You cannot do anything with him on offense. And to me personally, that's just not what I want. It's not what I'm trying to use. So I'm throwing him down into D tier. You could definitely throw him up into C if you want, but for me, from my experience with him, I'm throwing him down into D tier. Just my opinion. Next up, we have the Galaxy Opal Dennis Johnson. A card that I think is not amazing, but definitely not too bad. I'd put him similar, with Doc Rivers. I think it's a card that's getting slept on. A card that definitely could be shown a little bit of love, because everybody's just talking about him like he's absolute doo-doo, but I do think he's pretty solid and a pretty nice card overall. So try him out if you do have him. I feel like he could pleasantly surprise you, because nice 6'4" guard that can do everything pretty well. Not too bad. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Del Curry, and I think his one saving grace is the fact that he can play PG. Has jump shot 28. Pretty decent jump shot. It's not great, but it's definitely not too bad. Obviously, he's just an absolute sprayer. Has all of his shooting badges are Hall of Fame. He doesn't have, I think, deep face, steady shooter, and pick a popper, which is awesome. Can still dunk the ball, and doesn't have too bad of dribbling animations. They're not, the best, but they're definitely not too bad. I think Del Curry, really solid card, and can go, into the B tier. I feel like, he just has those few things that maybe a Doc Rivers doesn't, or Kenny Smith doesn't have that I'd want. Next up, Galaxy Opal Dave Cowens. This one is another easy one for me, going up into S tier. He's like another version of Lamar Odom. Absolutely insane. Gotta love Dave Cowens, man. He has that LaMarcus Aldridge or Lamar Odom jump shot, but plays and has the animations, dribbling and stuff like that, like a Dino Raja when you're playing, and it's unreal. It's basically if you took Dino, threw on a gold range and the LA base. Absolutely killer. Love that Dave Cowens card. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Dan Issel. Another card that's getting their ass down into D tier. Poor little guy, but he is down there. Dan Issel, just not great defense, not great finishing ability. Good in the post. Jump shot is meh, and just overall not too great of a card, for being honest. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Chris Mullen, who I'm going to throw into B tier. Has a decent jump shot. Obviously that's the one thing that he's really got going for him is the jumper. But other than that, really doesn't have anything too much that's impressing me. So we're just going to throw him down there in B tier. Just, the definition of a pretty average card. Next up, we have a Galaxy Opal Brandon Roy. I think when it comes to free Opals, is Brandon Roy has the potential to be one of the best that we got, but he needs that Evo update. And in understanding that, we're going to throw him into A tier. Now, Brandon Roy can play for you as if he is an S tier card, but 2K, please give him an Evo update. Brandon Roy just does not have the Hall of Fame badges that even some of these new cards that we're getting for free have. Once Brandon Roy gets that Evo update, we just get more Hall of Fame badges. We just get a boost and, certain things. Boom, easy, flying up into S tier because he's just a great card. Next up, we have a Galaxy Opal Artist Gilmore, another card that I think is actually really slept on. Is an absolute beast. In my opinion, is a better version of that Galaxy Opal Showtime at Shaq that we got, who I think a lot of people probably throwing into C tier center. Can't really shoot too well, kind of, meh. So I'm in saying that I'm going to put Artis Gilmore into C tier, but I will say I do think he's a very high C tier card, and we'll make that adjustment when we get to it. Galaxy Opal Wilt Chamberlain, another one of those non-shooting cards, but he can speed boost, he can go crazy, and can shoot better than somebody like Artis Gilmore. Not the greatest of releases, but I do think he's still a pretty solid card, and we're going to throw him into A. We're going to, maybe a little controversial, but we're going to throw him into A, have some fun with it, because I think Wilt Chamberlain is still a really comp card, and a card you can have a lot of fun with if you're doing your things right. Next up, Galaxy Opal Tony Allen. We've done a gameplay on this guy, and yeah, he ain't it. He ain't it. He's another card that is getting his ass down into D tier, where we ain't messing with it. We ain't messing with Tony Allen, man. Sec shot 17. He's got the Hakeem Olajuwon jump shot. Not good dribbling animations. Okay at finishing to the basket, but 6'4" at the 2 and 3. No, thank you. Get out of my face. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Tom Heinsohn, who's actually another really good card. He's another one of those Dino Raja clones, if I'm not mistaken, has jump shot 4, has some really good dunking animations, some pretty decent dribbling animations, but his dribble style is like power. It's not too great, but his stats are just unreal, and I think he's actually a pretty good card. Just not too many people have him, so people really haven't got the opportunity to try him out and really see just, you know, how great he can be. And yeah, I think it's a pretty deserving card of the B tier. I definitely feel like if I was picking, you know, a Tom Heinsohn or a Chris Mullin for my 3, I definitely think I would snag my Tom Heinsohn. Now, coming in at our next card, I don't know why I said coming in as if we're doing a top 10 list. The next card that we are ranking is Galaxy Opal Terry Cummings. Another one of those cards that it's a little bit difficult to rank, because it's kind of like, depending on who you talk to, he's a god, and then for other people, he's, you know, awful. So it's a pretty hard card to kind of judge. I think he's got a good release. I feel like he has some really, you know, good shooting stats, shooting animations, pretty nice jump shot 36, good dribbling animations for a big man, at least for a guy that, you know, is 6'9" with a 7 wingspan. He has some really good defense. Overall, pretty nice card. But I do think, for me personally, I'm kind of weaning away from the Terry Cummings hype train. I used to be real big on this card, but not really too much anymore, and I'm going to have to throw him into C tier. Now, the next guy that we are going to be covering is the Galaxy Opal Steve Smith, basically a re-skinned Jimmy Butler with better dribbling animations. That's what Steve Smith is. He's Jimmy Butler, but he's got a better behind the back and just better dribbling animations in general than somebody, you know, like a Jimmy Butler. And in my opinion, it makes him better than Jimmy Butler. So we're going to be throwing Steve Smith up into S tier. I think the fact that you just got a few quick little, you know, games that may be a little bit difficult once you get to the end, in between you and getting one of the better free 2 guards in the game is unreal, and is actually kind of awesome. Steve Smith, absolute beast of a card, definitely one that you guys should go ahead and get up. And if you like a Jimmy Butler, you're going to love this Steve Smith card. I promise you guys that. Next up, we have the Galaxy Opal Go Steph Curry, and I think when it comes to 6'3" guards, without question, this Galaxy Opal Curry is the best 6'3" card that we got in the game. Other guys that may be in contention for it, I'm just drawing a complete blank on. I can't really think of anybody else too similar that's at a 6'3" and can play it. But the thing that, you know, is awesome for Curry is just he's got crazy good stats. You know what I mean? He's got everything almost 99, has 63 Hall of Fame badges, got all those Curry animations, which are actually pretty clutch and pretty nice. I'm going to go and throw Curry up into S tier. When it comes to 6'3" guards, he's absolutely insane, and even has stuff, I'm pretty sure, like a Hall of Fame moving truck, which can actually help you out on a really high strength at 98. I think Curry's getting a little slept on, if we're being honest. So we're throwing Curry up into S tier. I do understand that some people, you know, don't like some of the shorter guards, but Curry, absolutely awesome, and I don't discriminate that much against shorter guys. Next up, we have Spencer Haywood, who is like a literally just a shorter Dino Raja. Really, that's the best way that I can describe him. Dino Raja, you know, 6'11". Spencer Haywood, 6'8". Both of them don't really have range extender. And, yeah, we're going to throw Spencer Haywood down in to C tier. You know, he's just barely missing that next level of amazingness. You know what I mean? Dino's great because he's so tall. But, yeah, it is what it is. Next up, we have a Galaxy Opal Rudy LaRusso, a card that I've been telling people you gotta stop sleeping on. You can't really get him anymore because he was in the triple threat offline vault, but Rudy LaRusso is one of those 6'8" two guards that can do literally everything on the court: rebound, play in the post, shoot the 3-ball like crazy, dunk in everybody's head, and play insane defense, and obviously has that awesome size. I'm honestly tempted to throw Rudy up into S tier because I do feel like he's better than some of the cards that we have in A, like James Harden, or maybe the Wilt Chamberlain, maybe James Worthy, but I don't feel like he's really on par with these guys that we have at S, so I am going to throw Rudy down into A tier because he's not at the level of the guys that we have in S tier at all. Like, nowhere near the guys we have in S tier. But the next card that we got right here is Galaxy Opal Rudy Gay. This one's without question. We're throwing Rudy Gay up into S tier. Like, come on. Everybody knows it's Rudy Gay. He takes a while to get up and grind for it because, 12-0, 5 times, lock him in, get Rudy Gay, but well worth it once you get that Galaxy Opal Rudy Gay. Absolutely insane. One of the better, two guards in the game. Absolutely love him. Really solid card. Now, the next one that we got is the Galaxy Opal Dick. I said, why did I say that? Rick Barry. Oh, it's because I was saying Richard. That's probably what was messing me up earlier. But here we go. We got Galaxy Opal Rick Barry, who is a nice 6'7" two guard. But the thing with Rick Barry is his jump shot 18, is so damn slow. Like, so damn slow. It's not too bad on half quick drop, and his defense is really good. I think, another solid card, but with his slower jump shot, I think I kind of have to throw him into C tier. I don't think he's Dan Issel, Tony Allen, Gus Williams level bad, so we're going to throw him up to C, but definitely not a card that I am a massive fan of. Next up, we have a Galaxy Opal Richard Jefferson, one of the better cards that we actually got. Richard Hamilton. One of the better cards that we got off of the new Spotlight Sims. Because he's got that jump shot 40, the Nicholas Batum base, has some awesome dribble sigs. They're actually pretty comp. He can shoot 3-ball, great dunk, awesome defense, just awesome everything. I think is a really solid card and a solid entrant into our A tier. We'll throw him right into there, right into the beautiful A tier. Now, next up, Galaxy Opal Paul Pierce. I understand that some guys they don't really like the Paul Pierce base. I understand that. Perfectly fine to me. But for me personally, I love the Paul Pierce base. I think it is one of the better, catch and shoot with jump shots. It's just one that is, I think, absolutely awesome. So I'm going to throw him up into, S tier. I do feel like Paul Pierce definitely is not on the level of a Rudy Gay type card. Maybe not even Steve Smith. But Paul Pierce, you get him into the post and just can do absolute work with him, which is awesome. And it's just a great card. I love this Paul Pierce card. Now, next up, we have Galaxy Opal Patrick Beverly, who, if he wasn't so small, would be one of the better, cards in the game because of how great his defense is. Has a pretty decent jump shot and some not too bad dribble sigs, for being honest, but not the greatest dunking ability, and 6'1". For me personally, when shorter guys don't have dunking ability, I think it kills the momentum of them. Like, they can't do too much after that, and I think, Patrick Beverly is going to find his way to get his ass down in D tier. So there he is. I'm sorry, Pat Bev, but it's what it is. Next up, we have a Galaxy Opal Nate Archibald, another card that I don't think you can get anymore because, he was in the triple threat offline vault, but another really solid card. But he's only a 6'1" PG again, which is real tough. And at being a 6'1" PG, he only has a 78 strength and has some really low interior defense, like really low interior defense. Has the Paul George base, which is not too bad, but it's not really too great. And as a 6'1" guy, it's not what I want. I want a quicker jump shot, 98, 38, something like that. And Nate Archibald just doesn't have it. So another card that is getting his ass into D tier, because I just don't think he can really hold his own with a lot of the cards that we have above him. Next up, Galaxy Opal Michael Beasley, and this may be one of the more controversial picks that I'm going to make today, and that is going to be throwing Michael Beasley into the S tier because I'm one of the people that actually likes the Michael Beasley base. If you don't like the Michael Beasley base, move him down to A tier. Perfectly fine with me. I can understand it 100% because I know it's one of those bases that you gotta like in order to use correctly. I understand he doesn't have the full court dribbling ability as some other cards, but he's a half court demon. That's kind of how I play. Not really the full court, dribble spam, all that sort of stuff. Just get to the half court, pick a pop, cheese like that. And Michael Beasley works perfectly for that. 6 fade at the 2. Absolutely love him. Beautiful card, if we're being honest. Next up, Galaxy Opal Mel Daniels. Another card that I think is really good. You know, has a pretty nice jump shot. But the one thing I think that hurts Mel Daniels is I'm pretty sure he's a 6'8" power forward. And that's not what I'm, 6'9" power forward, sorry. But that's really not what I'm looking for. And he does have a low 3, but somehow his range. So can be a really awesome card because he got awesome defense, awesome speed, and amazing dunking, all this sort of stuff. Could be a good power forward. I would prefer him at the 3. And I think as a triple threat card, probably could fit into A. But as an unlimited card, because he's not that great and unlimited, I'm going to move him down to B. And we're going to reflect that right there and be a nice, decent little card. Not too bad, not too great. Next up, Galaxy Opal Mark Aguirre, another card that really didn't impress me too much. I think fits pretty firmly into the C tier. So here he goes. Sorry, Mark Aguirre. Next up, Galaxy Opal Marc Gasol. Like I said, very similar to the Hakeem Olajuwon. I feel like it'd be disrespectful to have Hakeem up on one and then Marc Gasol not on the other. So we're going to throw him up there, fitting in with him. Next up, Galaxy Opal Louis Dampier, a card that can get his ass into D tier, just too short. Tony Parker base just save him a little bit because it's so quick, but can't really dunk, not really good defense, and 6'1". That is just a recipe for disaster. No thank you. You can get your ass down into D tier. Next up, we have Galaxy Opal Lenny Wilkins, a card that I really don't have too much experience with, if I'm being 100% honest. But another one of those 6'1" guys that just doesn't impress me too much. Just doesn't have the greatest of driving ability. His jump shot is meh. Nothing too crazy. We're gonna throw him down into D tier. You can get his ass down there as well. And here he goes. Galaxy Opal Goat Larry Bird as our next card. Come on, we all know it. As a free card, this is the best free card that you can get right now. Galaxy Opal Larry Bird, best free card you can get without a doubt. Anybody saying anything else is completely wrong. Like Larry Bird is a god for free. Next up, Galaxy Opal Kobe Bryant. I'm gonna throw him at S tier because he's got that new jump shot change. Before he got the change to his jump shot, making that hitch go away, I think he probably would have found his way into A. But fixing that hitch, I think, really solidly puts him up into the S tier. And it's a really nice card. Next up, Galaxy Opal Kiki Mandaway. Only negative that I really have with Kiki is that he has a slightly slow release, which at the 3, sorry, can kind of hurt him. And his defense, defensive animations can kind of be sus at times. So we're going to throw him into B tier. Fits pretty solidly in there. I like this Kiki Mandaway card. I have him, really solid card, but just not at that next level for me. And controversial pick coming right here. Galaxy Opal Kevin McHale is, in my opinion, a worse Dino Raja. I know he can shoot crazy, but Kevin McHale's dribbling animations just no thank you. I'm really not feeling him at all. And I'm going to put him into B tier. I don't think he's an absolutely awful card. I just don't think he's that next level god tier card that people are talking about him as. And I do feel like they're overlooking the fact that he really doesn't have great dribbling animations. And that's kind of what you wanted out of that Dino Raja type player. So we're going to throw him into B tier. Next up, Galaxy Opal Julius Erving. I'm going to throw into A tier. I feel like a really solid card that just doesn't get used as much because he's the first 12-0 reward that we got. So not too many people even know that he's even a card, but is a really, really solid card and definitely love him. And then last but not least, we have Galaxy Opal Jerry Lucas, who I think is going to fit into the B tier. Well, not actually fit into the B tier, but I think he is a B tier card. He has that Dwayne Wade base, but dribbling animation sometimes can be, and that upper on the D Wade base just messes up the mojo of the jump shot. It just doesn't look good. If I'm being 100% honest, it's just, I don't know, it's weird. But everything else about him, pretty nice, pretty solid card. But I'm going to go through, kind of rearrange these, take a double look at this list, and then, move things as I see fit to make them hopefully as left-right order as I can. If I miss a few, I apologize, but I'm going to do my best to make some changes. I'll be right back. Alright, so I think we've finished up moving them all around. I did a rough little, left and right arrangement. I'm not going to claim that it's perfect, but it's an attempt to make it. A few changes that I remember making as I moved Jamal Murray down to C tier. I just didn't feel like he fit with the rest of the players that we had, on here. I moved Isaiah Thomas down a tier as well from C down to D. I got his ass down there because I just didn't feel like it was fair to put 6'1", 6'1", 6'1", 6'1", and then Isaiah Thomas up there when I think he's like 6'2", 6'3", but I just don't feel like he plays better than any one of these, 6'1" guards that we had down here. So I did move him down as as well. And nobody, I don't think, moved up in A tier. I just moved a few players down there. Let me know what you guys think about this comment. I said comment. Let me know what you guys think about this tier list down in the comment section below on all the free opals that we have in 2K20 at the time being. And make sure you guys drop a like on the video as well. And subscribe if you guys are new. We are on that road to 6.8K. Hope you guys have a great day. And I will see y'all in the next video.